everybody, it's Edie. And I'm here because I tried to do a live stream the other night and Google Plus and I were just not getting along, and so nothing I tried worked and my live stream did not go live. So I figured I would finish the painting that I was going to do on my live stream and share it with you all here. So some of you may or may not remember, I started this painting quite a long time ago. It's actually gone through a couple of transformations. It started out, I did it on my ustream, and it started out as a girl and she ended up with this big crazy, I think her hair was blue or orange or something, I don't remember. But she had this crazy hair and I just really wasn't happy with it. So then on the second ustream show, I went through and I changed her into this tree girl. So there was just a tree painted here and she's like breaking out of the tree. I don't know if you can see there, but there are little bits here where she's like breaking out of the tree and she's like an elf, a tree elf. And I still wasn't happy with it, and I've had it set off to the side for probably 2 months now, and every time I look at it I just feel like she's not finished, but I didn't know what direction I wanted to go. And then it just dawned on me the other day. I was looking through my drawer and I found these leaves and I'm like, oh yes, that's what it needs. It just needs more. So I added these faux leaves to make it more of a realistic looking tree. And now I just want to finish off the painting. So that's what I'll be doing tonight. So what I did was, I had this metal bird. Let's see if I still have the original here. Yeah. So I have this metal bird, and I really liked it and I knew I would use it again, so I created a mold from the bird, and this mold is using Amazing Mold putty. So I mixed up my equal parts A and B, pushed my bird into it and created my mold. Then once it was dry, or you know, once the mold putty was set, I popped my little bird out and I had my mold. Then I took some Sculpey 3 and I pressed my Sculpey 3 into my mold and I baked it. And because Amazing Mold Putty is oven safe, I baked it right in the mold putty in the oven until it was set. So then once I popped it out, I had cast this bird in Sculpey. Now what I want to do is go through and paint the bird, add it to my painting, and then add just a few more finishing touches. So the first thing I want to do is give my bird a coat of paint. And I've never painted on Sculpey before, so I don't know if I need to gesso this first or not. I'm going to just try and add paint and see how it goes, and then if I need to gesso, I'll go back and do that. So this is Folk Art Metallic Antique Copper. That's the paint color. And I just want to test it out here and see if I need to gesso. And no, I do not need to gesso. So I'm going to give my bird a full coat of the metallic antique copper paint. And I want to make sure to get down into all the little grooves with this coat of paint, because this is actually going to be the darkest coat. And this is what's going to show through a little bit. Alright, so I gave the bird a full coat of the metallic antique bronze paint. And now I want to just start adding a few additional colors. So I'm going to take this Napa Red and go over just a few places on my bird. What I want to do is put it on and then kind of blot it off. And then I think I'm actually going to use a little bit of water and just blend the top right there. That way I don't just have a solid line of the red. I think I want to add some to the top of his head. Do the same thing with the water, and I'm just dipping my finger right into my paint water and then kind of tapping the paint to get it a little damp and then blotting. That way it blends in. And I'm actually taking a little bit too much of the paint off, so I want to get my finger not quite so wet and do it. Let it set for just a second and then blot it. That's better. And then her tail, I'll do the same thing. And that way I just don't have the solid line of paint. It's more uniform and blended. Now I want to take some pure bronze. And it's just a slightly lighter color bronze paint. And I'm going to leave the red and just add a tiny bit of the bronze. Go over the wings. And now that I'm not going to add the water to, I'm just going to leave it as it is. Now I need to darken down some of the other spots, so I want to take some black and make a thin wash with just some black and water. Now I want to go over the places where I did not already add paint. Add a little bit more water and blend that in a little bit more. It's just all about making sure there are no solid lines of paint, because birds don't have solid lines. So I just want to blend it all together. And I think I want to add some of this metallic antique copper, that dark color I put on first. I think I just want to add a little bit of black to that, because now it's getting a little too dark. And go back over just a few spots where I've rubbed a little bit too hard. Going over with a thin wash of black on the wing, just to bring out some of the definition between the feathers. And it's better to do a couple of thin coats than to do one thicker coat. That's nice. Now I want to bring that wing out just a little bit more, so I want to go back with that lighter bronze. And it's just back and forth until you get to the color and desired shading that you want. Now I want to paint in the little features on my bird's face, so I need a really small paintbrush. And I just want to go right into the eye. Now the beak, I think I want to do red, but I want the beak to really stand out a little bit. So I'm not going to dilute this at all. Now I think I need a little bit of shimmer on my bird, so I want to add a bit of glitter. And I'm just going to use Aleene's clear tacky glue. And I'm going to rub a little bit on my finger. And brush it right across the top of the wing. Just the very top of the wing. Now while that glue is wet, I just want to sprinkle, this is Pumpkin Extra Fine Glitter, Recollections brand. I just want to sprinkle some of that right over where I put that glue. And I think my bird is done. So I'm just going to take my Aleene's clear tacky glue. And glue my bird into place. For the next part of my painting, I want to add a word. So I've taken the stamps that I'll be using and I traced around the flat side to create my squares and make sure they were the right size. And I want to cut those out. And now I've created the little tiles for my letters. The first thing I want to do is give them a coat of paint. And I'm going to bring that red back in, that Napa red. For the next step, I want to stamp each one of my tiles. And I'm going to stamp the word change. And then I want to emboss it. So I'm going to stamp each letter with Distress ink. And I'm going to use fired brick. It doesn't really matter because I'm using colored embossing powder. But I figured if any of it did still show through, I wanted it to be a color that would match. So I'm going to use the fired brick Distress ink. And then I'm going to go add pearl embossing powder. And this is carnelian. Over the top of it, and then heat set it and emboss the letters. So my letters are not showing up the way I'd like them to. It's great when the light hits it, but when the light does not hit the letters, they don't show up all that well. So I want to add just a little bit of black to make these letters pop. I'm just going to add a wash of black and let that set for a minute, and then I'll go back and kind of buff it off of the letters. Because they're embossed, the paint will come back off of them pretty easily. And actually, the embossing might show right through the paint, just as it is.
I think it is.
So I'm using the very tip of a paper towel because I just want to touch the letters and get some of that black off. And now I want to add a little bit of shine to each of my letter tiles. So I'm going to take my Aleene's glue again, and I'm just going to dab it onto a few random spots on each of the tiles. Nothing uniform, no, it's not going to go around the whole edge. Just some irregular glue spots here and there, right along the edge, but again, not covering the entire edge. And go back to that carnelian glitter. And again, I'm liberal with my glitter because I'm just going to shake all of the excess right back into the bottle. And I'm kind of glad these letters aren't standing out too much because I don't want them to take away from the face of the tree elf. But this glitter will just draw the eye to these letter tiles a little bit more. So now it's not really uniform, but it does give a little bit of sparkle to each of these tiles. And then, you know, I'm the glitter queen. This isn't really a glittery painting, but you know, what painting wouldn't benefit from a little bit of glitter? Now for the finishing touch, I want to add my tiles to the painting. And this bottom letter, this E, is going to hang off a little bit, and I'm alright with that. I've got leaves hanging off, so I'm okay with the letter tiles hanging off as well. And I like that. I like when things go off of the edge of my painting. You know, when it's not perfectly finished, I think it gives it a little bit of something. A little bit of personality. And I think she's actually finally finished. I'm really happy with the way this looks now. What I'll do is add the Ustream links for the beginning parts of this painting in the YouTube comments below. So if you want to check out this whole painting start to finish, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to watch the Ustream links. And I'm happy with it now. It was so not this pretty when I first started. She was kind of crazy looking and she needed a lot of help. So she's come a long way, and I really, really like the way she looks now. So I'm very happy with this. Hope hope you enjoyed my little painting here, and you know, hopefully live stream. You know, I'll be able to live stream next week, and Google Plus and I will get along a lot better. So until then, I'll see you next time. Mwah. Bye!